There comes a time in the history of nations when fear and complacency allow power to accumulate and liberty and privacy to suffer. That time is now, and I will not let the Patriot Act, the most unpatriotic of acts, go unchallenged. We should be in rebellion saying to our government that the Constitution that protects our freedoms must be obeyed. Where's the outrage?
All right, folks. Well, as the countdown on the Patriot Act ticks away, that, of course, was Rand Paul filibustering the renewal of the Patriot Act. And Jonathan Tobin is here, senior editor for Commentary Magazine, commentarymagazine.com. Jonathan, your piece, Rand's sad tale of two filibusters.
Well, I think the point here is that if we think back to the impact that Rand Paul's filibuster in 2013 had and contrast it with the impact of the one that he did last week, it shows us a couple of things. Number one, you can't recapture the magic. There are only so many times you can go back to the well, and it didn't have quite the same, wow effect on the political world. Part of that was due to the fact that the circumstances have changed. In early 2013, we weren't really focused so much on the terror threat. With ISIS on the march, controlling much of Syria and Iraq, all sorts of other things going on around the world, the sort of isolationist moment has passed. Secondly, I think, and it's sort of more to the point of our discussion about the 2016 race, it shows that Rand Paul is looking to go back to his base. Most of the last year and a half, a lot of the moves that Rand Paul has made has sort of alienated his father's old supporters because he's been trying to edge back into the mainstream and show that he's acceptable to the rest of the Republican Party, which might share his suspicion of the Obama administration. They admire his standing up for the Bill of Rights, but they're also much more concerned about security. This is, they don't share his libertarian ethos about foreign policy. And so he's been trying to show that he's one of them, that he kind of fits in. I think that his stand against the Patriot Act and the whole Filibuster Act shows that he recognizes that that hasn't really worked. And what he's got to do to survive in the presidential race is to rally his dad's, the old Paul Bot crew back to him, because without them, he doesn't have a chance.
Right, and now he's also blaming neocons for Iraq and the situation we're in, instead of rightfully blaming Obama for pulling out and not getting a SOFA in place. But that's who he is. We got about a minute left. Also, your great piece of commentary. Obama, he lost a big court decision, the U.S. Court of Appeals yesterday, on that unconstitutional executive order.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. We shouldn't, spike the football on that case yet. This decision was on procedural affairs rather than the merits of the case. But the fact that an appeals court upheld the stay on the implementation of this unconstitutional extra-legal executive amnesty shows there's a chance this might get to the Supreme Court. There's a chance that Texas and other states that are trying to say, hey, we are injured by this, by your going around the Constitution and putting this burden on our taxpayers, they may have a shot. At any rate, even if they ultimately lose the case, as I think they probably will, it shows that it's not so easy to get away with amnesty, that there's a cost that's legal and political, and the longer this drags on, the worse it is.
And of course, Hillary has promised that she will go further, because this one didn't go far enough. That should be pointed out too.
Jeffrey,
great to talk to you. Thank you very much. Andrew McCarthy is next. Don't go away.